So in this video work by Robert Peternell, The Moon is Your Worst Nightmare, as soon as he showed this part was supposed to be a space, and you see all these structures, and you can see the tubes that goes into this so-called crater. It continues on every dark part in this image. Is filled with tubes, and the same thing that you see in the above the moon, that extend into the. So the question is, why these structures appear only when you enhance the image in certain ways, and this continues everywhere? So that means that we are inside this structure. This is everywhere. He shows it even better right here. Look at that. You can even distinguish what's the ground and what's the space. You cannot. Only because that diagonal line right there, that is supposed to be the curvature of the moon right there. That. This deal right here. Or when you look at these things, you see that they all are the shape of hand. This is an enormous finger, look. And there is the second one right here, and the third one, the fourth, the fifth, and it keeps repeating, and it repeats in every which way. And that is the truth, that people cannot go there. They cannot ever accept that something like that is the truth. That is difficult. Look, in this part he showed why they have tempered the image all around in different shades. You can see the darker closer to the moon, lighter farther from the moon, because the truth gets worse as it goes farther out. And you can see there is an amazing chunk right there. That is one enormous structure that wraps around the moon. It looks like a snake, but now I know what it is. It's a freaking hand. It's an enormous hand that is grabbing the moon. It will be like this. Oops. Where'd it go? And you can see it on those dark spots of the moon. And that's the thumb right there. And it goes in every which way, in every direction. It's insane. I listen to myself and it sounds insane. It is insane, but to us, to the designers, that only makes sense because they're the one that did it. Our mind is limited by our own stupidity and our own, the way we've been groomed not to think out of the box. These things are fingers, like that. but they go in both directions. It comes this way, they come the other way, then they come diagonal, they come in every which way. It's so perfect, the geometry, that it matches in every which way. I put my hands on it, and you see that it fits perfectly, like that. Look, that's the thumb, right, like that. Look, the pinky, ring, middle, index. Then it comes this way too, and this way. It's just insane. Once I discovered that that was the case, I knew that that is on everything. Look, like that. There comes the fingers like that. And these are fingernails. Look, the perfect shape of fingernails. I challenge anyone, and I mean anyone, to debate this with me. I put out a challenge to anyone that knows how to do image recovery to deny what I'm saying. I offer $100 for you to debunk what I'm saying. The only other person that saw that in an image recovery, he works the Photoshop. He found that. He said, yes, you were right. There's fingers all over, there's hands. Then he said something stupid, that the hands were holding a dick. What the fuck? That was an insult to God and some blah, blah, blah. I said, well, golly, man, this image is on everything. It's on galaxy. It's in the entire visible universe. The image of the visible universe is there too. Well, you tell me that, is that an insult to God? They don't know that we could. How do they know they were going to be able to see that from that tiny little planet? It don't make sense. To me, is that's the design. Look, and this thing even made one hand on its own, like that. Look, you can see I mean, it matches in every which way. It's insane, but it is. These rectangular deals are fingernails, and they're tiny, medium, large, and ultra super large. This whole thing, look, this thing is an enormous freaking fingernail from an enormous, imagine the size of that hand, that the entire moon is the size of one finger. You think about that. That's why NASA doesn't ever show a freaking super crystal image of the moon, because then we will know. But we are so stupidized that even if you show them this image, this image they cannot get it. They just cannot get it. They see all these sculptures and shit, they cannot get it. Because I couldn't at first. Only when I step away from the image is when I saw what that was about. That's how I discovered the hand symbol thing, that code. And I've been posting it ever since. or people refuse to think or believe, even the ones that knows me and have been following me, they're having a hard time with this. Look, a freaking hen. How do I know? Because look, you can put your hand against it and it matches perfect, and it's in everything. Right here, look, like this. Look, there's the thumb, there's the index, the middle, the ring, and the pinky. Like that. And you can see it, and it repeats. Every single part of this image is made with the hand thing. You can see it in large, medium, tiny. I mean, it's insane, but it is. It's crazy, but it is. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, you can look it up every which way you want. I will give you $100 if you debunk what I'm saying. Look, if you don't believe me that there is structures in the sky, look at this image recovered by Moonram 1952, which now is called RBAC Psi Moon. Look at that. Look at this deal right here. That's why that picture of the moon from Apollo 8 was tampered with, because the farther out you go, the more you're gonna see the truth. This is around that moon. Look at that. Look at the structure that is attached, or the moon protrudes from that. Well, you can see the image around that full moon. Look, all around the entire moon, the same structure appears. I mean, it's everywhere. You have to brighten the heck out of it to see it. So when you look at the Art Pirineu work, then you see what I'm talking about. You see that? You see how the same exact structure, exactly the same, because it's the entire solar system is like that. That's why. And you see how these tubes goes into the moon crust, and they continue. Look at that. And there are all these sculptures. I mean, everywhere. Look at that. The same thing under the crust. On top, under. Look at that. Every dark spot on that picture is filled with tubes and same sculpture that you see up here. That it goes through the entire moon. Well, we call it the moon. Look at that. And then you see that the same hand sculpture